G'day guys! For a while now, I have wanted to listen to music and audiobooks while playing games on my R36S, but I wasn't able to find an elegant solution, so I ended up making something myself. Just to be clear, I am not the first person to try this, but I wasn't able to find a simple ready-to-use tool that didn't require installing anything, and that just worked out of the box on a fresh install of both ArkOS and the new dArkOS. It's also worth mentioning that while the music is playing, there will be no in-game audio at all. I did start working on a custom mixer, but the project was getting a bit too complicated, and I would personally just want to pick either in-game music or my custom playlist. So not only is this handy little tool ready to go, it also seems to very slightly improve performance in some games. Probably because the emulator doesn't need to handle in-game audio. But we will try this out firsthand a little later in the video. As always, we will be trying this on a fresh install of the latest version of ArkOS, which at the time of filming is 11.07.2025, but we will also try it on dArkOS a little bit later. Before we go through how this new tool works and take a look at performance, we will move over to our Windows 11 PC and quickly go through how to get everything set up. Let's get into it. We're over on our Windows 11 PC now, and to get started, we've just opened up Google Chrome and gone to the Google Drive link containing our new background music player script. As always, I will link it down in the description below. So from here, we just want to click the little download icon at the top left, and it should start downloading. It's not very big, at just over 2K. Once that's finished downloading, we can close off Chrome and open up our downloads folder. Inside, we should have our background music player zip. We do need to extract it. To do that, we'll just right click on it, and you can use Windows built-in archiver by clicking extract all, but I always like to use 7-zip, so we'll go down to show more options, 7-zip, and extract to. Next, we want to insert the SD card from our R36S. With our SD card inserted, we want to open up the background music folder we just extracted, and inside should be two files. There's the script itself, which is called backgroundmusicplayer.sh. That's the one we're going to want to copy to our SD card, and the other is just a simple text file containing a few notes on how this works. So we just want to click on the script itself, backgroundmusicplayer.sh, press Ctrl-C to copy it, go to our EasyROMs partition, go to the Tools folder, and paste it in here, Ctrl-V. You could also copy and run this from the Ports folder if you really wanted to. Next, we just need to create a folder called Music in the EasyROMs partition. So I'll go back to EasyROMs, we'll right-click anywhere, go New, and Folder. We'll call it Music, M-U-S-I-C, nice and easy. And this is where you would put all of your audio files. I do have a bunch of test ones, so if we go back to our Downloads folder, open up the folder called Test Music, and we'll just copy all of these, so press Ctrl-A, Ctrl-C. That highlights them all and copies them. I have officially tested it with MP3s, FLACs, and OGG files. Go back to our EasyROMs partition, go down to our new music folder we created, and just paste them in here. And that's literally everything you have to do to get this working. Nice and simple. We can safely eject our SD card and move back over to our R36S. We're back on our R36S now, and to launch the new background music player tool, we just want to go to the Options menu. If you're on dArkOS, the Options menu is hidden away inside the Start menu, so press Start instead. Go down to Tools, and we just want to highlight and run Background Music Player. So once inside, you have three main options: Play Music, Stop Music, and Exit. We'll start with Play Music. That should take you to a list of every compatible audio file that was found inside the music folder that we created earlier. And as it says at the top, we want to select our starting track. So which song to start playing. I guess we'll pick the very last one, just to try and confuse it. Finally, it'll ask us if we want to shuffle all the songs for random playback, or instead play them back in order. If you go in order, it just goes through the list one by one. If you go shuffle, it'll start with the song that you've selected, and then randomly select other songs throughout the playlist. It will continuously loop once it reaches the end of the playlist. If there's enough interest, I could add a toggle for that, but I think most people are going to want it to loop. We'll pick shuffle for this test, just press A, and it should automatically start playing the music. So it is playing in the background. I'll turn the sound up. So it is playing perfectly. If you wanted to stop music, you just go down to stop music, obviously. But if you wanted to keep playing the music, just go down to exit. Hopefully the music isn't too loud and you can still hear me. So we're back in Emulation Station now, and the music is still playing. We'll go into a simple game like Mega Man 2 for the NES, and we're in the game. There's no in-game sound, but our music is still playing. If you do decide you want your in-game sounds back, you just quit out of the game you're playing, probably save state first, go back to the Options menu, go back to Tools, go back down to the Background Music Player, and this time select Stop Music. Now if we go down to Exit, go back to the main menu, and try run Mega Man 2 again, we should have in-game sounds back. Press Start. Sure enough, it does work. It's also worth mentioning there's nothing fancy like being able to skip tracks using a hotkey. I just wanted to keep it nice and simple, with the smallest overhead possible to not slow down emulation. So that's pretty much the basics of how it works and what it can do. Let's take a look at how it affects game performance. To keep things simple, we'll try a bunch of games with it off to get a baseline, and then play some music and compare the two. I will turn the sound down for this since I don't want it to be blaring in the background. And we'll start with something nice and simple, Mega Man 2 for the NES once more. We do want to enable the FPS counter, so bring up the RetroArch menu, go back to the main menu, settings, user interface, on-screen notifications, visibility, and frame rate. So for Mega Man 2, I think we'll go into Bubble Man stage, since that does have a rapidly updating background. So we're in the game now, and obviously we are hitting a hard 60, which is good. But for this benchmark, I do want to test fast forward speed. So currently we seem to be idling at around 196 to 197 FPS. I'll make a note of that. We'll quit out of this one. Next, we'll try Pokemon Crystal for the Game Boy Color. I will have to enable the FPS counter once more. And for this one, we'll just use the title screen to get a benchmark. So fast forward. And it does seem to toggle between maybe 450 and 600. 600 seems to be the most common number though, so we'll just use that as a baseline. Quit out of this one. Next up, Pokemon Fire Red for the Game Boy Advance. We'll use the title screen again just to keep it simple. So this screen here, and we'll toggle fast forward. So not as fast, around 82 or 83. We might say 83. Oh, it's gone up to 84. We might say 83 for this one. I'll write that down as well, and we can quit out. Next up, a harder to run one, GoldenEye 64. I think for this one, we should go into DAM, just to get a better reading. I might toggle fast forward as well. So we've loaded into DAM, we won't move at all, and with fast forward enabled, we seem to be averaging somewhere between 50 and 60, but it's usually 50. I guess the truck is moving, and that is changing it. It's slowing down a bit now. We'll probably put 52. That seems to be the average. We'll quit out of this one as well. And we'll try one more, a really hard to run one. God of War Chains of Olympus for the PSP. I will have to enable the FPS counter for this one as well. So we'll try bring up the PPSSPP menu. It's the right joystick in. Go down to settings, graphics, and it should be all the way near the bottom. There it is. Show FPS counter. We'll toggle that on, and we'll go back and continue. So we're on the main title screen, and we seem to be averaging somewhere between 19 or 20. It does say it's running slow. We'll have to wait for that to disappear. Looks like 19 is where it's at the moment. Has gone up slightly, but 19 seems to be the average. I'll make a note of that. So we've got our baselines. We'll quit out of this one, and I will start the background music player. So options, tools, and background music player. We don't care which song, so we'll just go straight into it. Turn the sound up to make sure it's playing, and it is perfect. Turn it back down, and go down to exit. So let's try those exact same games again, and see if there's any change in performance. We'll start with NES Mega Man 2. So we're in the actual level now. Again, Bubble Man, just to keep it fair. And we seem to be averaging somewhere between 202 and 203 frames a second when fast forwarding. And just for reference, with the background music player off, we were averaging somewhere between 196 to 197. So there is a clear but very slight improvement in original NES performance. Let's see if this performance increase carries over to other systems. We'll quit out of this one. The background music is still playing, by the way, and we'll go back into Pokemon Crystal for the Game Boy Color. And we're back on the main menu, and this time it seems to be peaking around 670, whereas before it used to peak around 600. So that is quite a big increase, actually. It seems to be even better than NES. We'll quit out of this one as well, though, and we'll go into Pokemon Fire Red for the Game Boy Advance. We'll go back to the title screen, and this time we seem to be averaging around 85 or 86, when we were averaging around 83. So again, a very, very slight improvement, but it is there. We'll quit out of this one too, and we'll try GoldenEye 64. The background music is still playing, by the way, and it has just changed to the next random track. If I turn it back up, you can hear it is different. We'll go back into DAM though, just to keep it fair, and I'll toggle fast forward now to hopefully speed it up. So GoldenEye did fluctuate, but it seemed to average around 52. We'll wait until the truck's gone around the corner though, since that was sort of where we left it last time. But so far it does seem to be averaging slightly higher, although it has dropped down to 51 now. 50. We'll give it a second. And it does seem to be averaging around 54 this time. 53, 54. We did drop back down to 52, but the average is probably closer to 54. And just as a reminder, it was around 52 with the background music player off. So far, a clear but very slight increase in performance in every single system we've tried. We'll quit out of this one and try our last one, and that's God of War for the PSP. So we'll go back to the title screen, and we'll see where it's at. So just as a reminder, we were averaging around 19 to 20, and unfortunately, it does seem to be the same here. We'll wait till a little on-screen notification goes. If anything, it's a little bit slower. It did drop down to 18. It does seem to hover around 19 frames a second though, most often. So it looks like PSP performance, pretty much no change. I guess the bottleneck with this one is the GPU and not the CPU. Still interesting results though. So we've seen what happens with emulators, but I am curious to see how ports handle the music playing in the background. I actually haven't tested this, So it would be interesting to see what happens. We'll go down to ports. I have just got an easier to run one, vanilla RA. I just want to see if it crashes or if it stops the background music playing or what happens really. We'll turn the sound up. It looks like it's working as expected. Our background music is still playing and there's no sound coming from Red Alert. So it might work system-wide, as long as whatever game or program you're running doesn't try and kill the background service. So now we know it works in ArkOS. I do want to try it in dArkOS. Before we do that though, we'll go back into our background music player, and at the very top, it has brackets, MPV brackets. Just keep that in mind when we try it on dArkOS. I'll go down to stop music, exit out of this, press start, and we'll safely power off our system. And I'll go grab my dArkOS SD card. So we're over on dArkOS now. If I press start, you can see we are running the latest version at the time of filming, which is 02012026. So to run our scripts a little bit different, since the options menu is hidden inside the start menu. So I press start, go down to options, and then from here, it's the same as ArkOS, go down to tools and background music player. So this time at the very top, it has brackets, VLC brackets. So dArkOS is a little different in that it doesn't have MPV pre-installed out of the box like ArkOS. It does thankfully have VLC though, which means we can use CLVC instead, which is essentially just the command line version of VLC. Since VLC handles shuffling songs a little bit differently than MPV, we had to take a different approach to get it working. When selecting your starting track from the menu, it will create a temporary playlist, add that song that you've selected to the top, and then randomly shuffle the rest of the tracks and append them to the playlist. The end result for the user is exactly the same, but I thought it was worth mentioning. So we'll pick a song from here, maybe a loud one, and we'll go shuffle. And sure enough, it is playing. If we go down to exit and go back to the main menu, we'll select a game, we'll go Mega Man 2, press start, and sure enough, it works exactly the same as it does in ArkOS. Also, for those of you that are wondering, yes, it does work with wired headphones. It should also work with Bluetooth headphones if you have Bluetooth enabled, but unfortunately I don't have a compatible Bluetooth adapter just yet. Overall, while still very simple and bare bones, it does exactly what it says on the box and lets you listen to your custom audio tracks while playing games. I personally just use it for audiobooks and music, but this could also be handy for studying while playing low effort games like Pokemon. If you end up trying this yourself, please let me know how you go. But I think that'll do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.